mysteries about true history's fans. Welcome to Riddles, Puzzles, and Problems, where I and Murgatroyd invite you, the listener, to solve a series of brain-teasing riddles, puzzles, and problems. We begin today's episode with a riddle. I am kinda square, but I've got more dimensions. Name a common shape of ice, and I may be mentioned. What an interesting rhyming riddle. Any idea what the answer could be? Well, let's break it down and try to figure it out together. I am kinda square, but I've got more dimensions. Well, back in the day, being square was slang for being old-fashioned or conventional. But whoever or whatever is only kinda square because they're deeper than that. They have more dimensions. Then again, square. Dimensions? What if the meaning is literal? What if the answer is a shape? Where did I last hear that word? Right in the second part of the riddle. Name a common shape of ice, and I may be mentioned. Okay, potential problem solvers, what are some common shapes of ice? Let's see. There's crushed ice, ice chips, ice blocks, ice spheres, ice. Ooh! Did an answer just pop into your head? What do you think, potential problem solvers? Did you figure it out? If you said the answer is a cube, you're right. A cube is a 3D square, thus having more dimensions. And a cube fits the bill and keeps your drink cold. Good job if you got that. But that's just the beginning. For today's adventure, I need your help saving a cube beloved by problem solvers everywhere. The Rubik's Cube. The Rubik's Cube was invented in 1974 by Hungarian architect Erno Rubik, who was trying to model three-dimensional movement for his students. It's a 3x3 cube with colored squares on each face, which can turn independently using a pivot mechanism. Once scrambled, the goal is to reorganize the cube so each face is a uniform color again. Easier said than done. Did you know there are 43 quintillion possible variations of the colored squares? That's a 43 with 18 zeros on the end. The Rubik's Cube was released as a toy in 1980, and over 500 million cubes have been sold since, making it the best-selling puzzle toy of all time. No wonder the trolls wanted to throw a wrench in the cube's gears. Their plan was to sneak into the Rubik's Cube factory and alter the mechanism so the cube could never be solved. Which, of course, would drive problem solvers everywhere bananas. To keep the trolls away from the Rubik's Cube factory, I decided to hack into the troll communication mainframe and reroute them to the wrong location. There's just one problem. Well, 3, actually. The mainframe was encrypted. To break it, I needed to solve 3 problems. First problem, what is the volume of a 3-inch cube? To solve that, I needed the formula for volume of a cube. Problem solvers, do you know it? If not, here it is. The volume of a cube is length times width times height. Great job if you knew it. No worries if you didn't. Now, what is something true about the length, width, and height of a cube that makes solving this problem pretty easy? Well, the thing that makes a cube is that its length, width, and height are all equal. So, to find the volume of a 3-inch cube, all we have to do is multiply 3 times 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 equals 9. And 9 times 3 equals what? 27, which means the volume of a 3-inch cube is 27 cubic inches. We've reached the next level of encryption. Problem number 2. What is the volume of a 4-inch cube? Well, just like the other cube, we multiply length times width times height. In this case, it would be 4 times 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 equals 16. But 16 times 4 is a little tricky. Why don't we break down the multiplication into smaller parts to make it easier? 16 is the same as 10 plus 6. What if we multiply 4 times 10? That's 40. And 4 times 6 equals 24. Then all we have to do is add 40 plus 24, and we get 64. The answer is 64 cubic inches. Okay, we've reached the final level of encryption. Problem number 3. How many times greater in volume is a 4-inch cube than a 3-inch cube? Problem solvers, what operation would you use to solve this? I'll give you a hint. It's the cousin of multiplication. If you said division, that's correct. To calculate how many times greater in volume a 4-inch cube is than a 3-inch cube, we would take the volume of the 4-inch cube, 64 cubic inches, and divide it by the volume of the 3-inch cube, 27 cubic inches. Now, 64 divided by 27 is a little too complicated. I suggest you work it out on paper later. But for now, I'll use a trusty calculator. 64 divided by 27 is 2.37, which means a 4-inch cube is 2.37 times greater in volume than a 3-inch cube. Ooh, hey! We broke the encryption. Where should we send the trolls instead of the Rubik's Cube factory? Oh, I know. An ice cream shop. Because we know trolls hate ice cream. Maybe they can have some ice cubes instead. So, how'd you do, potential problem solvers? Don't worry if it was a challenge. It's supposed to be. Just go back and listen again and keep trying till you get it. And don't worry, there will be plenty more opportunities to prove you have what it takes to be a problem solver too. I'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Riddles, Puzzles, and Problems. And be sure to join Max and Molly for another episode of Mysteries About True Histories every Thursday. See you soon.